Talk about the practices so far, how they gone, what are you seeing from your team so far?
Well, the practices have been going extremely well. I think our kids are receptive to, we got a couple of new offenses that we put in, and they really have been embracing them. But when you when you tend to put new stuff in, you gravitate towards putting a lot of energy in the newness. So we just kind of had to have one of those practices where we had to, not figure out, but go back to what our identity is. And we got to be able to defend, and we got to be able to rebound. So I thought yesterday was one of our best practices as far as the intensity, the getting after it, the executing on offense, and it just felt a lot better.
Now, one of your players was talking about the fact that there are so many players in practice. Is that a new thing? And talk about the dynamic of having so many new players and so many new great players.
Yeah, that's a new dynamic for us to have so much talent, on one team, and being able to efficiently give everyone the reps that they'll need to make sure that they understand what we're talking about. Because a lot of times, when you're implementing, everything's new for the freshmen. So everything that we do is new for them. When you're implementing something that's so new for a large part of our team, you have to make sure that they understand it. And a lot of times reps will allow a player to understand it a lot better. They may not have as many reps as they would like, so they really have to make sure they're listening and they're retaining information, they're asking questions, and we are getting a lot of that from them. So, hopefully when the games are coming around, or when we get another week or two into practice, they'll understand how they'll have to continue to retain and flip the page and continue and add more stuff to it. And, fortunately for them, they're young, so they should be able to remember a little bit more than us older folks.
As a coach, when do you start worrying about playing time and who's going to start and all those things? Does it come now, or is it really something that works its way out during the season?
Well, I think you have to start thinking now. The season will be here very, very shortly. I think the experienced players have an edge because they understand what we're doing. They understand the rigors of practicing every day, and have to maintain and play at a certain level every single day. Some of the youngsters may not understand that because, maybe they'll have one hard practice in a week in high school, and that hard probably isn't comparable to a college practice. So, you do have to jockey in and play with different lineups during practice, and I think it's a good problem to have. To figure out who needs to start. Who's going to be the first or the second or the third person coming off the bench. And we can go even deeper, fourth or fifth person coming off the bench, and that's going to be our rotation. So, we explain to our players they are now jockeying for playing time position during practice. You got to be productive in the reps that you get, so we'll understand that and what's needed of you and for our basketball team.
With expectations being obviously so high, why is it important for you and your team to embrace those expectations?
Well, I think it's important to embrace those high expectations because that's what they are, and we have high expectations for ourselves. So, just because a publication may say you're ranked this high or this low, whether we never really looked at those rankings because we have we have goals that we set each and every year. And a lot of times those goals exceed people from externally. And, I think it's probably right on line with, some of those publications, and that, I think we got a really good shot at winning the national championship. How we put it together will be on us. How our players sacrifice, what they do off and on the court, it's going to be on them. As a coaching staff, we have to put them in a position to compete at a high level, no matter who we're playing.
And lastly, what is your message to fans about coming in here and cheering you guys on during the season?
Well, I think our faithful fans who have come, when we won maybe 5 games in this arena to being undefeated last year. I think they understand what type of product that we put on the floor. They embrace what we put on the floor, and win, lose, or draw, they live our team's success and failure. So we understand that part of it, but we want to make sure that what's on the floor is a product that they can be really proud of, a product that we want them to be upset when we don't play well. We really do, because they have an expectation of this team and how they play and how they played in the past, and they want more and more and more, and we understand that, and we want more and more and more. So for us, we just have to continue to practice well. If we're practicing well, you're going to play like you practice.